You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the hood table, where we chop up local and global events vocally. You don't really wanna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little, get that wine in your system, fill your glass a little, expose current events, talk trash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. They addicted to the content, got them binge watching. You don't like it, then you want invited. Bet your friends watching in the house and your job parking lot before you walking. They don't wanna miss a second of this HD content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, just know we ain't buying in. We gon' probably turn your back and tell you sorry, try again, Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Welcome back. How y'all doing, y'all? Hey, what's up? Are y'all ready for this review? The Have and the Have Not, season 7, episode 12, called One Way or Another. Let's get into it. But before that, make sure y'all like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you are not already subscribed to the Hood Table, thank you so much, very kindly. Now, we are about to get started on this episode. This episode has so many surprises. But first off, Jim Cryer's son, Jimmy, he still had that gun pointed at him. With a gun held up to him, Jim was forced to acknowledge that it's painful to know that both of his sons want him dead. Along with that, he revealed to Jimmy that when his mother worked for him as a maid, they had begun sleeping together, because Jimmy was like, how did y'all meet? How did this happen? What came before me, before I arrived? So he was telling them, I met your mother. She worked as a maid for us. We began sleeping together and we eventually fell in love. Now, whether Jim really loved Jimmy's mother, I highly doubt that. Jim doesn't care about nobody one bit. He don't care about nobody else one bit. He only cares about himself and his money and whores. Of course, he likes his whores, including Candace Young. But anyway, I also doubt that his apology was sincere. He did apologize to his son for being an evil person and not caring about nobody but himself. But you'll say anything with a gun held up on you, so I don't believe it for 1 minute that he was sincere. But to come to find out, the gun wasn't even a real, so he about to piss his little bedpan all in the hospital bed, and there was a toy all along. His son got him. But at the precinct, Catherine Cryer, she's still up there screaming. She wants the guards to come and update her on her son, why his condition. She is desperate to find out if he is dead or alive. She really thought that she had enough clout up in there. She was like, I'm Catherine Cryer. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I am Catherine Cryer, and I demand to find out what's up with my son. She ain't got no clout up in there, but Mama Rose does. Mama Rose definitely got all the juice. And Catherine didn't even realize who the older lady was who was getting all that special treatment and who had just informed her that she had slept with her husband, Jim. Once she did find out, though, Catherine pleaded with Mama Rose to have the guards check on Wyatt. But why did the Malones? Why? Man, the Malones, did they have to kill that young cop or that kid, as they kept calling him? He had no idea. That cop didn't know who Mama Rose was. He didn't know anything about no Malones. They was like, are you new here? No. And they still couldn't fathom that he has no idea who he arrested for drinking and driving. But Wyatt did survive. He survived after all and got a visit in the infirmary from his half-brother, Jimmy. Now, how the heck did Jimmy get into the infirmary to see Wyatt in the first place? I got questions. Is he a lawyer now? Like, did all that schooling that his father, Jim, paid for, did it pay off? Who knows? But anyway, he made his way in to see Wyatt. After them tossing around insults back and forth between each other, Jimmy mentioned how he's glad that Jim didn't raise him, because Jimmy, Most definitely. Probably would have ended up just like Wyatt, either strung out, dead, or in prison. Because Wyatt is strung out. He almost killed himself. And he's in jail for like how many this is what first, second, third child. Anyway, he's glad Jim didn't raise him. Meanwhile, Jeffrey and Madison, last episode, they had just arrived at David's house and they made their way up to Jeffrey's bedroom. They had just finished going round and around and around in Jeffrey's bed. Oh, Jeffrey appears to be all in love, head over heels for Madison. But Jeffrey also seems to be getting on Madison's nerves every time he brought up his mother, Veronica's name. Like, why did he keep asking his man, can they go over to Veronica's house and turn that bitch out? Like he wants to go over there and make out, make love, do whatever it is that they do at his mama house, knowing how Veronica feels about gay people. Child, I don't know. Jeffrey done fell and bumped his head. But anyway, before Madison headed home, David arrived back at the house. After David gets home, he is visited by Alyssa, a friend of his ex-fiance Erica, who was murdered. Well, not murdered, but whose murder was set up by Veronica. Alyssa claimed that Erica really did love David, and she's there to prove it to him because David doesn't believe it. She set him up. I mean, she was working for Veronica. Matter of fact, Alyssa was too. Veronica had both of them doing things for her. It was either do that or you probably end up killed, laying somewhere in a ditch somewhere, and somebody thinking, "Oh, it was just a prostitute," Will got killed by her John. But anywho, before Erica was murdered, she made a video confessing her love for David and apologizing for working with Veronica to set him up. Although she didn't really have a chance to go against Veronica, she claims that she really wanted to get out, but just couldn't. She didn't know how. She didn't know how to tell David. Now, I do believe she was, in fact, in love with David, but I couldn't believe what happened next. Her own friend, her homegirl, Alyssa, I can't believe how she was acting. Did you see her up there being all seductive and sexy, trying to get into David's bed? I'm like, dude, you just came over there to tell him how much his ex was in love with him, and then you trying to get in bed with him like 5 seconds later. She was like, but that's what happens. That's what happens, y'all. When y'all tell y'all friends how good your partner in bed is in bed. That's what she said. She said, well, she told me how good you are in bed, and I want to experience that. Child, that Alyssa was not playing. She was out there twirling all around in that fountain. Man, when Madison came outside, he was like, hold up, David, there's a woman out there in your water fountain. He was like, security will handle it. Security will handle it. That girl was out there in her bra and panties. She had took off all her clothes, was in her bra and panties, and swinging and twirling all around in that water fountain like she was up on a stripper stage. Child. Again, she was not playing. But Madison, when he said, work, bitch, work, I was like on the floor. And it was it was the way he said it. He was like, work, bitch. I was like, oh shit. Madison, take your butt home. But now one of the biggest surprises of the episode was finding out that Derek is in cahoots with Veronica's new maid, Laura. Now, remember last episode? I mean, not last episode, but like 3 or 4 episodes ago at the beginning of part of season 7, when Laura had came to her, through that program to get a job to be a maid. And I was like, why is this girl letting Veronica talk down to her and belittle her and disrespect her? Now it all makes sense. She had to do everything possible for Veronica to choose her to be her maid. So that explains why she allowed her to call her all those disrespectful names. But come to find out, Derek is also involved. The plan is to rob Veronica blind, take all her possessions to get back at her for the way she treated Derek and for the way she treats a whole lot of people like in that town. But anyway, knowing Veronica all too well, Derek warns Laura and her boyfriend to be extra careful because Veronica might have an agenda as well for giving Laura all those nice threads that she gave her. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But as far as the two white guys at the restaurant, they are still planning to swindle Catherine out of all her money while she is locked up. Marty found out that Catherine's estate is actually in the hands of Anna. Hannah. It's in the hands of Hannah. Did I say Hannah? Who is Hannah? Okay, anyway, Hannah has power of attorney over Catherine's assets. So next up is a meeting with Hannah to ask her some questions regarding Catherine and her pocketbook. And speaking of pocketbook, I'm anxious to find out what's going to take place at this meeting because the men have already moved Catherine's money to another account. They didn't got ahead of themselves. They didn't realize, they didn't see it coming that Catherine's money is not even in her own possession. That's the only person who actually has access and power and control over her money is Hannah. And they had already moved the money. Let me know what y'all think gonna happen. But anyway, they also came up with this bright idea. They was like, as a matter of fact, if we get caught, we can just suggest that Hannah stole the money. They are suggesting to put the blame on the missing money on Hannah, the maid. Well, she's actually not even the maid anymore. She used to be the maid, but now she's like in charge of the maids or over the maids or supervisor. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you type. The help. She's over the help. So after being dragged out of the bar at her daughter Candace's request, will Hannah find herself in a more stickier situation? Y'all let me know what y'all think. But back at Veronica's, her boy toy is more than disappointing to her. Man, the way she was doing that poor man. Ooh. She told that man to get the heck up off of her, Mr. Roke, with his itsy bitsy teeny weeny peeny. She was dogging that man out, dragging him. She said, I know women with bigger penises than that. Miss Veronica, man, she was being more than cruel. She was vicious with the insults. Man, the blows that she was throwing at that young man. But anyway, I'm surprised no man has killed her yet. Now, again, her husband, Jeffrey, her husband, David, he did try to drown her. But being an expert swimmer, she survived. But after the man left, Veronica got a call from Benny. Benny needs to know the address of Derek, the guy that she, used to represent, which is the same man that Hannah was dating. Veronica has no intentions of giving up that address. She only has desires of Benny coming over to finish what the other man couldn't. So, will Benny pay the man a visit and get revenge for his mother? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Now, another surprise this episode was finding out that Oliver is not so innocent as we may have previously thought. Last episode, when I saw him, remember when he was like doing this after, he finished a conversation in the office. He was like doing this, and I was like, is he on drugs? Is he snorting? I'm like, no, I don't know. But he is on drugs. And he threatened that man in the car that if he don't give him even more drugs, he's going to make sure he's removed from the country. Oliver is also working against Charles, the president-elect, with his own father. From what Oliver is saying, his father will also run for presidency. So he needs to know what else the man have found out about Candace, which appears for now to be nothing. But that man better come up with something fast if he knows what's good for him, if he loves living in the good old US of A. So questions for y'all. Will Catherine and Mama Rose duke it out in jail? Because in the next episodes, we see how after telling Catherine that she is pissing her off, Catherine responded with, well, you old gray-haired bitch, bring it. So I don't know if they're going to fight or what's going to happen because they appear to be in two different cells. But again, Mama Rose got all the juice. So if I'm sure she wanted, she could have the guards open them jail cells and let them fight each other. Because remember that one guard did tell her, he said, "You ain't got to stay in here, Mama Rose. I can let you out." She said, "No, no, I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to stay in here because I'm waiting on my boys to come send a message to that little kid who had me arrested. He don't know who the Malones is now, but he about to find out." So anyway, also, David, he eventually allowed Alyssa into his home. Will they sleep together? Hmm. And will those two white guys really set up Hannah to make it look like she stole Catherine's money? And my last question, will Benny find out Derek's address and pay the man a visit to get revenge for his mother? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Put your comments in the chat. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Make sure you stay tuned for the episode 13 review from me. And also make sure you tune in tonight at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time for our Friday Night Live show. It is a No Topics Off Limits show. It happens every Friday night at 9 p.m. and no holds bar. So that means we can talk about any and every subject. You can bring up a subject. You can jump on the screen with me, on the StreamYard with me, and bring up a subject or talk about anything that we're, hitting on or whatever. Just say, hey. So anyway, that's 9 o'clock p.m. tonight. So make sure you're there. And in the meantime and in between time, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.